Tonight, an update on a story we first brought you last week. Tallahassee's Historical Society is fighting the possible demolition of the old Wahnish Cigar Factory. The 120-year-old brick building could make way for housing, but the question is, are their efforts too late?
Think of what you could do with that building down there.
Tallahassee Historical Society President Bob Holliday can't help but think the long and winding history of 469 St. Francis Street deserves another chapter.
Both Jewish and Spanish influence here has been significant, you know, from the very beginning.
Its story began in 1907 when Jewish immigrant Alfred Wahnish dreamed of turning a sleepy government town into a flourishing tobacco mainstay.
There was talk actually of moving the capital away from Tallahassee. It really revitalized the entire city, and that was really, really important. And this building was the hub of that.
And it's awesome on the inside, too.
That story continued 30 years ago when Brian Giblett turned the factory into the Cow House music venue.
Like, we had a lot of bands that, you know, that played here before they became huge, like Queens of the Stone Age, Mastodon, Newfound Glory.
More recently, preservation architect Aaron Vaughn's former boss had hoped to restore the structure for office space.
It still retains a high degree of historic integrity.
But this story may end soon. A Tampa-based developer plans to demolish it to build apartments and a 4-story parking garage.
Well, they'll be able to knock it down. I mean, I have no doubt about that, but God, why?
That's despite being on both the local and national registers of historic places. Vaughn prepared the 2018 application to add it to the National Register. That distinction doesn't guarantee protection, but it does provide federal tax incentives for a future developer to restore rather than raise.
Preservation and redevelopment do not have to be mutually exclusive. They can actually work together to create something that is valuable to the community.
And yes, it's under special historic zoning and on the local register. That forced developers to make their case in front of the Tallahassee Trust for Historic Preservation, where the developer had to prove the building isn't structurally able to coexist with their plans. The Trust's executive director says they did just that.
I trust this board. They do their homework, and they do it really well.
Tallahassee Mayor John Daly weighing in.
We'll do everything we possibly can to save a building when appropriate, but for the review board to come back and make the recommendation it did makes it sound like it wasn't structurally safe.
It makes you feel empty. It makes you feel sort of hopeless.
So what's next? At least a couple meetings before demolition day. There's a meeting of the Development Review Committee in town next Monday where the developer is asking for a setback deviation. There will also need to be another meeting of the Trust's Architectural Review Board where the developer will need to present plans to commemorate the building in some way. That meeting's date not yet set. Also, I did reach out to the developer for more on what the future holds. I have not heard back.